Hey guys, my name is Fred. Welcome to Personal Time Outdoors. I thought I'd make a series of videos about some very basic camping knots. A lot of times I watch YouTube videos and I see otherwise really experienced campers setting up their tents or setting up a tarp shelter, and I can tell from the video that they're not really schooled in how to tie proper knots, and it drives me crazy. They'll do things that are probably not the most secure. So I thought maybe if I showed just maybe some basic camping knots, that might help somebody out. Now I'm going to make a series of videos and each one is going to be on a different knot. So in today's video, I'm going to start off telling you how to prepare the ropes to practice tying your knots. And then I'm going to show you the first knot that most people learn, which is called the square knot. In order to practice knot tying, I recommend getting yourself two pieces of poly rope. It could be paracord or it could be nylon rope such as this, maybe 2 to 3 feet in length. And keep these handy with you. They're not very big. You can take them with you and use them to practice knots, because that's the key to knot tying is practice, practice, practice. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm sure you've probably seen online that there are videos and there's also animated diagrams that show you how to tie knots. And all of those are great. The only problem I see with them is that each one can be a little bit different. A lot of these knots, you can start with your right hand, your left hand, right side up, or, what some people might consider upside down. And if you go from one diagram to the other, they can look different and that can get confusing for you. So the key is find a way that works for you and stick to that way. Don't change methods or don't start using different diagrams. If you find a diagram that works for you, stick to that one and always tie it the same way. And that's the way that you'll develop the muscle memory and you'll just remember to tie the knot without having to look. When you're preparing your rope, the first thing that you're going to notice is after you cut your piece off, the ends tend to get kind of frayed like this. And if you have any experience with rope, you know that over time this is going to unravel and it's going to become a mess. So what you need to do first is you need to take both ends of the rope and you need to do what's called fusing. In order to do that, what you want to do is you want to take a lighter such as this or any old lighter, and you want to melt the ends of the rope together. Now the trick is you have to keep it on there long enough so that you melt the outer casing to the inner strand so that they're all kind of one piece. And once you do that, they will no longer become unraveled. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. And then just so you know, you only want to do this if the rope that you're fusing is some sort of man-made material such as nylon, poly rope or paracord. If you're using a natural fiber rope, then obviously you don't want to do this because you'll just set it on fire. There's a different technique for natural fiber rope, but to be honest with you, the synthetic ropes are actually the way to go. They're the easiest to practice your knots with. They hold tight and they stay together much better. So I would strongly recommend getting some sort of a poly rope to practice your knots with. So here we go. This is how we're going to go ahead and fuse this end. Notice now that the outer casing, like I said, is fused to those inner strands. So what you want to do is after you do that, obviously, you want to let it cool for a few minutes. When the uh, part of the rope that you fuse stops looking shiny and kind of, gets a dull look, then you'll know that it's cool enough to work with. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the square knot now. In order to do this, to make it a little easier, I've got two different color ropes. It makes it a little bit easier to see how the knot goes together. Now the square knot is usually the first knot that most people learn how to tie. And what it's used for is to tie two pieces of rope together to make a longer rope. It holds very strong, it doesn't slip, and it's actually a very, very effective knot. This is a very simple knot to tie. What you want to remember is this: left over right, right over left. And it's going to consist of two overhand knots. And the first one I'm going to tie by going left over right, just like this. The second one, I'm going to go right over left. Grab the ends and pull it tight. And that's your square knot. And you can kind of see, if I push it apart here, you can see how the rope is interlocked. The two loops are interlocked. And this is very strong. I mean, you can pull on this all day long and this will not budge. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this is only an effective knot if both pieces of rope are the same diameter. If they're two different diameters, there's a different knot that you would want to use. But for today, we're just going to focus on the square knot. I'm going to go ahead and show that to you one more time so you don't have to rewind. Again, it's left over right, right over left. And there you have it. Now, like I said, the square knot is predominantly used to tie two pieces of rope together to make a longer rope. But just here's a little tip for you. If you've ever had a pair of boots or a pair of hiking shoes that no matter what you do, the laces will not stay tied, one tip for you is when you start off tying your shoe, tie a square knot first before you make your two loops. Instead of just doing a single overhand knot, tie a square knot first. And if you do that, your shoes will not come untied. I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks for watching. Please be sure to check out my other two videos on basic camping knots, and if you found this video helpful, please click the subscribe button.